Okay, Inma Pazos from Ailala. Inma, thank you so much for joining me today. It's wonderful to see you, and I'm very excited to taste through your wines and chat a little bit.
Hi, hello, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great, and so this is the Bon Vivant Imports virtual visit for Ailala Ailaleo, and as well as Vinos de Encostas, which we will talk about the collaboration between those two. But first, Inma, I think it's important to talk about where you're located. So I'm going to share my screen with some maps, and in general, here is Spain. We're talking about Galicia up here, up in the northwest, just above Portugal. This is Galicia zoomed in a little bit more, and where Inma is in the DO of Ribeiro. And one more focus is this is the region of Ribeiro. So Inma, can you kind of tell me where you're located and how Ribeiro works? Because there's a few different subregions.
Yeah, of course. Well, we are up on the north part of the appellation. Actually, the appellation is bounded by three rivers. No, we have the Avia, it's that one.
Okay.
Then on your right there is the Viños, that is actually the bigger river across Galicia all around from the north, and all the appellations have the Viños inside. I mean, from Valdeorras, then Ribeiro, it goes into Ribeira Sacra, then pass through Ribeiro, and finally ends in Rias Baixas, near the coast.
Okay.
In Tui. So the Viños is the main river of Galicia for wine. And actually, in our region, the sub-region of Viños is the wider valley, because the Viños is also the wider river, no, with more quantity of water. So created bigger valleys as well. So most of the big wineries used to be in the Viños part. It's where they have more, no, on the right.
Oh, over here.
Over there. Yeah, so all the big viticultures, also the big wineries used to be there. And Arnoia is the little subzone on the south,
down here.
There, exactly, and used to be small viticultures. Actually, the soils there are more or less more granitic sands mainly.
Okay.
So the wines there are lighter, fresh, but it used to be only a few small viticultures that produce wines there. But the most important part of Ribeiro is the Avia zone, is where we are on the north, that one.
Cool.
It's where the most attractive wines are produced, the most famous wineries are there.
In this zone.
Like Viña May, for example, or Casal del Man, Emilio Rojo, well, the most known producers from the region, because all the history around Ribeiro that is very important is mainly focused on Avia, and we are exactly on the north, around there. When you have now, it's Gomariz.
Gomariz is here, yeah.
This Gomariz is the village where we have more or most of the vineyards. Actually, well, we have others also near Rivadavia, that is just in the center for Ailala, around there. But all are in Avia zone. And in Avia, we can find different orientations, different soils as well, so we can get like more complexity. Right, that's Gomariz, exactly. That's our village, and we have around 24 hectares there.
Okay.
And actually, we can see, like, in that piece of land, quite small, we can say, there are three different kind of soils that adds a lot of complexity to our wines, because on the left, on the picture, that part is granitic sands, like most of Ribeiro. It's the degradation of the big rocks of granite during during centuries, no?
Okay.
And that give us the wines are fresh, light, aromatic. In the center of the valley, we have more clay soil. Even that the subsoil is schist, but there is a lot of clay. So from that part of the valley, we can get wines like with more volume, more structure, complex wines. And on the right of the picture, there's something that we don't see, but there is another climb of the valley that's schist soil. So that soil is very poor. The vines suffer a little bit, so the production is always lower, but with a very interesting kind of minerality. Well, the wines from the schist are very personal, very unique, very special.
Cool. And the terraces there are really impressive too, because for me, Galicia is like my favorite place in Spain. I think it is the most gorgeous area. It's green, but it's also like, especially where you're located, because you're not so close to the coast that it rains as much. And so like the climate feels so good. It's so luscious and wonderful, and it's beautiful. There's rivers everywhere. I absolutely adore it. And just the scene is amazing. All the terraces, and these terraces go back a long time, right?
Yeah. That's actually that vineyard exactly. We have documents that says us that that's a vineyard since 12th century, all the time along.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Aferrada, and you can see there is a wall surrounding the vineyard because
Right
it's like a yeah, right. This is like a close, no? Like in Catalonia called close, because it's closed.
It's close.
No, it's
closed on the wall, yeah.
exactly. And it's a pigeon's house in the middle. That little house, yeah, that people use it to feed to rise pigeons there. Sometimes I think were for eating, or maybe for sending messages, like the WhatsApp of medium age.
The 12th century, yeah.
And yeah, the people used to make terraces because of the climb, no, of the land, yeah, the slope. So this way we can keep the land stable
and work
to work easier.
It's
That's very impressive. About, well, if you let me talk about weather, do you think?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, you already introduced that we are in the green Spain, no, in the northwest of Spain, but we are not exactly in the coast, so we have like the mountains in the middle that stop all the storms. So if, for example, Rias Baixas, no, the most, I think, well known for everybody about Albarino, it's very near the coast. So the sea makes that the temperatures are softer, are more balanced during the year. But where we are like more inland, so we can get very high temperatures in summer and very low temperatures in winter. And even in the same day, that is very important for the ripeness, we can have high top temperatures during the day and follows down a lot, like 20 centigrades during the night.
Wow.
It's perfect. Yeah. For example, these days that we are finishing the season, no, we can say maybe in 2-3 weeks we will start harvest. We have sometimes 38 centigrades. Sorry, translate into Fahrenheit.
No, very, very close to 38's just under 100. Yeah, it's very hot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And during night we have fresh nights. That's perfect for keeping keeping freshness. No, that's one of the points of the wines from Galicia, that we can get that natural balance between ripeness, good tannins, round tannins, wines very ripe, but at the same time fresh. So
Very
wines are very balanced, very structured and round.
well,
That's
I think
the point.
that's really the key of Galician wines right now, taking in America more of a special place in retail environments, in restaurants, because in Spain, people always think of big Tempranillo from Ribera del Duero, you know, in the
Yeah,
hot continental climate. But Galicia reds, especially, have become more popular because of that freshness, that
exactly.
wonderful fruit, but this balance of acidity and freshness and liveliness that I think is really important, and not only for good drinking, but the American palate is finally kind of catching up to that style, which is wonderful. And Ribeiro is right in the heart of that. It really makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense. So
Ribeiro is actually the wine region of Galicia. I mean, it's the all the regions. I mean, of course, wine were produced everywhere in Galicia because the kind of economy in the ancient times in Galicia were very rural. So everybody had like a piece of land to work to make their own farms, their own meat, their own chicken,
wow,
and of course sometimes their own wine. No, because wine before was like something else to drink, not
yeah,
people couldn't drink water because water was probably dirty. No, there were no
true.
systems to
Filter, yeah,
control that. So alcohol keeps safe people. No,
yeah,
uh, so everybody produced wine, but Ribeiro during probably 1,000 years has been a region around wine, producing wine from the point of view of also selling outside and
okay.
selling to other parts that maybe
Exporting
had
all
not
around. Yeah,
exactly they didn't have the same conditions to make the wine. So Ribeiro has is one of that places in the world, no, like in France, a few places that everybody knows, or Italy or Germany, whatever, that makes the big wines, the super good wines, no, because the conditions, because of the weather, because of the grapes, we have local grapes adapted during thousands of years to that weather,
right.
the proper grapes for the proper soils, and actually, yeah, the combination of having exactly, that's the point, the freshness, the pH, the low pH in the
Okay.
soils, that's really really important because that makes the wines aging really well. So our wines are better with time, it's time to round in the bottle, and you can drink it for a lot of years.
That's very cool. And so so basically the history there, it goes, I mean, it was much bigger back then than it is today, right? More land was planted to grapes than even now because phylloxera
Yeah.
wiped thing out. Is that what happened?
Well, many reasons why the things changed, but the exactly we know because we have documents talking about that the region where maybe 17th century, 18th century, we had around 30,000 hectares.
Of vine.
Nowadays we have only 3,000.
That's
So imagine it's 10 times, no, 10,000 times more, where 10,000 more times than is today.
wow.
The reasons why, well, they're very different, no, economical, politics, uh, but also during, well, you know, everybody knows that Spain during a lot of years were a
Leadership.
dictator
Yeah,
ruling, so everything was like very very local, no,
right.
produced for the locals. And Ribeiro, because we're a very good zone, very well known zone in Spain, that used sometimes people to sell cheap wine, produce volume, no, take advantage of that situation
Mm-hmm.
badly
Yeah, yeah.
to make money with whatever. So unfortunately, during 60s, 70s, now in this century, the wood image of Ribeiro fell down,
Okay.
and there are a few producers like we are that since not very far, I mean, in the last 30 years, we are trying to get back from the past all that prestige uh, to produce again that wines to be proud of.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the secret is just take what you have. That is the weather, the soils, the good grapes, the
Mm-hmm.
local grapes, and happens alone. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so natural.
They naturally are going to grow back the reputation of amazing
Exactly.
wines of Spain.
Actually, we are very proud when we go outside and we show our wines that everybody gets a surprise. I mean, it's, oh, wow, where you were before. Eh, because it's something so, I mean, so kind. Wines are very well made. But I mean, of course, we have something to say. But
Sure,
I
sure.
always want to be hard telling people that the secret is the region. The secret is the place.
Yeah,
Is to find that and to take all the factors you need to create good wines. Because Ribeiro was there. I mean,
it's
we
been there.
never,
Yeah, it never
yeah,
went away. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. So Inma, how did you start? Like, what is your history, and how did you begin Ailala and get involved with Jose's project, and what's that all about?
Well, my personal history is that, of course, I was born here in Galicia. Everybody produce wines here, so I have all the knowledge, well, the background of my father, my uncle making wine in their house. And then when I study at university. I made a degree of chemistry,
Okay.
and so, but I didn't like the part of the chemistry of the factories, things like that. So I follow the line of the food and wine and things like
Cool.
that. So I specialize my degree with 2 more years of enology,
Okay.
and I've been working in different regions. I started my first vintage was in Rias Baixas with
Okay.
Albarino,
Cool.
uh, 20, almost 20 years ago. Oh my God, getting old. Yeah, I think it was 2002. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, After that, I also had experience in Valdeorras with Godello,
Okay.
with a very well-known producers like Rafael Palacios. And after that, I came back to, well, I had the opportunity to work in Ribeiro, and I find something very special. I mean, working with Treixadura, especially in the whites, because comparing with, for example, in the winemaking with Godello and Albarino, they're great grapes. But for example, Albarino, sometimes had you be very careful with oxidation,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
Treixadura is it's amazing. It's
It's an
great.
amazing grape.
It's
Okay.
so pure. Yeah.
Cool.
And since 10 years now, I'm in Ribeiro with these people from Gomarif, with Xosé Lois Sebio, the winemaker. And Sebio has amazing point of view also of wine. Well, he makes wines also from, I mean, he knows which wines he wants to make in his head and then make it. It's an amazing nose. He's very, I mean, he doesn't make the wines making analysis in the lab. No, it's very, from his heart, no,
Yeah,
from
yeah, from his
inside.
heart. He feels it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's very easygoing. No, I mean, I don't know that I can find it now the word in English, but
He's a
he makes
natural. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so we are a team between Miguel, that is my husband, Xosé, Lois, and me. I'm also the a winemaker. So with Ailala, we have our own project, two wines, one white, one red.
Okay.
That's the main, because we wanted, when we started make export, our wines traditionally in Ribeiro used to be blends. So it's a little bit difficult sometimes to explain that, well, this is a wine that is a sometimes feel blend of 10 different grapes.
Right,
So
right.
people say, wow, slowly
Yeah.
and with strange names. So we decided to make a message simpler,
Okay.
with trechadura in the white, sauzon in
In the red.
reds. And so
Cool.
Ailala is a project from ourselves. And then we have Viños de Encostas, that's the personal project of Sebio.
Okay.
He makes wines not only in Ribeiro, actually, he also makes a few wines in other regions in the northwest of Spain,
Okay.
like Valdeorras, Maisala, Ocon in Rías Baixas, and
And the
also
heaven and hell
Coios
kind
in
of
Bierzo.
is an interesting one
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. And
But all of them are small productions, very, very unique wines. So most of them are very, very old wines. So the production is low. So we can make sometimes 1,000 bottles, 800
and that's
bottles,
it.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're exclusive, very special.
Yeah, the very, very special wines. And Vinos de Encostas means the wine of the hills, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So kind of small plots in different hills around Galicia, some in Ribeiro, and then some in a few different areas. They're all incredible, and I love it because these two estates, Ailala and Vinos de Encostas, really complement each other. Ailala is incredible value, like beautiful, fresh examples of wines from Ribeiro that can be a good price point on the shelf, but also be, something someone can have by the glass. And then Vinos de Encostas being very small, tiny little projects, a little bit more expensive, but very special and unique. So it's really neat. Now, before we taste, tell me, how do you farm? What is your farming philosophy like?
Well, our way of working is always being very respectful with the soils and with the nature. I mean, we are not certified because it's difficult. Because as you said before, Galicia, it's a place where the plots are divided into a lot of different owners because of the heritage system during centuries. So it's difficult to manage, for example, to be biodynamic, certified, or organic certification, because usually the certifications ask you to have a distance between plots that are farm conventional and others not. So what decided that what is important for us is the result, no? It's the final result. So we do what we think is the best for the wine and for the vines. We don't use systemic products at all. But we are not Talibans. I mean, it's someone, if in especially in years that, for example, rains a lot, it's necessary to save the production.
Sure.
Okay, we will do something. But normally, especially years like 2020, that is bad for many things. But fortunately, I hope for the harvest is going to be very nice.
Good.
Very good.
Good.
So we farm organically. We don't use herbicides. We make things observing, watching, going into the vineyards every day and see what's happening. So we can act on that when it's necessary.
That's awesome. I love it.
But it means, I mean, it's very nice when you see them, because you see that our plots, there is life on them. So the grass can grow, and you can see flowers, and you can see animals, and what is nature?
You taste that too. You get to taste that in the finished wines because they are not Coca-Cola. They are not any. It is they're very true and specific to each year, and they're specific to where you are. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great because the wine has to change every year because not every year rains the same or have the same sun,
Right.
or sometimes you can have hail and you can lose a part
Of the
of the
vines.
production
Yeah.
from that plot that usually is going to take part on that wine. So that can change, no? And I mean, especially in the Ailala wines, in the others, not, because it's just especially from that plot. So if that plot is affected, we don't have wine.
You don't have it. Yeah.
That's simple. That's simple. So
So
that's why Vinos and Encostas, we don't have all the vintages in the market,
in the
only in the good
very
years.
specific to the year. Now, for
Yeah.
Ailala, how many hectare of vines do you have for the white and for the red?
Well, we for the white we produce much more for of white than
Okay.
red. It could be, I mean, we have a production usually of 25,000 bottles a
Okay.
year.
Okay.
That comes around 8 or 10 hectares, because that can change. I mean, because we
Yeah.
have we choose the best vineyards every vintage. We decide I want to make, well, I can make this quantity, and I decided to make it from that plot or that plot.
Cool.
Usually it's from the same plots. It's Otaboleiro, that is in Gomariz, it's granitic sands, San Cristobal, Beade, mostly granitic sand soils for
Mostly
Ailala.
for the
Yeah,
Trechadura and for the
yeah.
Sauzon.
The Sauzon, it's the same.
It's the
Actually,
same.
it's also mainly granitic sand soils. Also in the part of San Cristobal, Beade, and a little bit in Gomariz as well, in Otaboleiro.
Right.
And well, there is a part. Yeah, there's another plot that is in the Viña Grande that is also clay, a little bit more clay. Yeah, but it's mainly granitic sand soils.
Well, fantastic. Okay, well let's drink. I can't wait to taste.
Okay.
Um, so if you're watching this, please reach out to me if any of these sound intriguing. I'd love to get samples in your hands because these wines are beautiful. The Ailala wines. Um, Remind me, Ailala. It's like the word ole. It's like a festive expression.
Yeah. When we created the brand, we wanted something, as I said before, that people can get into and to be attractive in attractive label,
Uh-huh.
and especially focus on maybe young people, because
Yeah.
we were watching. Well, we were looking for that kind of customer, not someone that wants to enjoy a wine, but not to think too much and not too complex. No, Ailala means, well, it's like a shout of happiness.
A
Yeah,
shout of
it's
happiness.
like you said, the ole, but the ole is more related to the south of Spain, to flamenco. That is another totally different
Totally different.
culture.
Yeah,
And our culture is more Celtic. Celtic. We play pipes like a Scottish.
Really?
So
Yeah.
it's that kind of folk music. Yeah, and there is a kind of shouts of happiness when people is enjoying, having fun, dancing, drinking, eating, and it's Ailala. It's that.
I love it. I love it. This Trechadura is so wonderful. It's 2018 is the vintage we have in stock right now, and it has so much texture. It has so much aromatics, but it also has so much drive behind. So it's wonderful in the mouth, but still very fresh, as you were mentioning. But I love it because something so floral for me. I get wonderful white flowers and honeysuckle and all sorts of ripe pear and some citrus. Something so rich in the nose that has so much freshness on the palate is a really neat white wine to me. So is this
Yeah.
made in stainless steel?
Yes, this wine is made in stainless steel 100%.
100%.
It's 100% Trechadura, and Trechadura is this kind of grape that has exactly, as you said, this kind of complexity, no? Even though we don't make any skin cocktail or um, or lees, because it's not necessary with this grape. Naturally has a lot of structure in the mouth.
Texture and structure.
The skin of the grape is thick, so we can feel it, no? We can feel that structure, but comes with a lot of flowers, white flowers, aromas, a little bit of you know, that bushes that we can find in the forest.
Yeah.
I don't know, small herbs, aromatic herbs, when you are walking in the middle of the Galician forest, and it's rich but fresh.
Yeah.
I mean, so you don't feel that complexity, like to be heavy. It's not a heavy one. It's
Yeah.
takes literally. I mean, sometimes you see that it's quite. I mean, has density.
Yeah.
No, it's dense, but you don't feel that in the
You
mouth.
don't feel it.
It's very fresh and long. I mean, that's tartaric acidity that goes with you until the end and remains in your mouth for a while.
It's lovely. It's really, really lovely. So no time with the lees. It's
no
lees.
And usually no. I mean, what we make with Treixadura is that we let it ferment for all the days they need.
Okay.
We are never in a hurry. Usually at very low temperature. We are fermented at 8-10 degrees maximum to keep all the aromas, and then we just let it be in the tank until February, March, more or less, when we decide the coupage we are making.
Is ready,
but we are not moving the lees.
Moving the lees.
The lees remains there.
It just stays on. Yeah.
But they are with the lees. The wines are with the lees, because the lees, in some sense, protects the wine. No,
protects
because
the wine
they
too.
are cool. But doesn't adds more complexity to make that. We had to move the lees, and we don't do that.
And you don't do that. And
no, it's not necessary.
Do you use do you inoculate with yeasts, or these natural yeasts, or?
No, we use natural yeast.
Wonderful.
I mean, especially I mean, it's another point that makes the wines also to be more personal. The natural yeast.
They have different yeasts that are happening.
But again, I mean, if it's necessary because the wine doesn't end fermentation or wherever, we will add a commercial yeast to finish the wine, because if not, we can have problems. And we want the wines to be stable, to export the wines, because we export everywhere in the world. And we need to be safe.
Awesome. Yeah, of course. But okay, great. And so with the red, kind of similar philosophy. Is it all stainless steel? Do you use oak aging?
No, in the red we use a little bit of oak, because Sauzon, it is mainly, I mean, it's mostly the main grape of this wine is more than 85% is Sauzon.
Okay.
So Sauzon, it's a grape that actually you can find also in Portugal, in the north of Portugal. Is one of the grapes that takes part in all this big amount of grapes they use in Douro for make the Porto wines.
Yeah.
And naturally, that grape has a big structure, has very high acidity, big tannins, strong tannins. So to make it without oak, sometimes we will get a wine too hard. I mean,
too strict of tannin.
Will be, for me it's attractive, but I mean, maybe to be commercial they need more time to round in the bottle. It's another concept, another philosophy. So we decided to round to make this process quicker, to put the wine inside the barrel for just a few months,
Okay.
4 or 5 months.
Okay.
So this way we can get that process becomes earlier. So we have the wine rounder, and also the barrel is like, it makes also add their tannins, and their tannins interfere with the proper tannins of the grape and makes a very nice combination. But you don't feel here the oak
The
at
wood,
all.
yeah. Is it old barrels?
It's used barrels,
Used
not
barrels.
very old. Yeah,
Not very
but
old.
yeah. But
Cool.
maybe for 2-3 vintages, 4 vintages, depends.
And 225 like barrique or bigger?
No, 500 or 600.
500 or 600 liter. Okay.
Yeah, nowadays we just use this size for our wines.
Sauzon is a grape with red pulp too, right?
No, it's only the skin.
Only the skin is red. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Inside is white, but when it's ripe, it's so intense in color that becomes red inside. But the grape, it's not like Alicante Boucher, that is also red inside from the beginning.
I see. When it's very ripe, it bleeds in a little bit and it can change the color.
Yeah. But the Sauzon is a small, very small bunch.
Okay.
Tiny bunch, tiny grapes. So what happened in the wine that the proportion of the skins is big. It means that because the color and the tannins are in the skin. So the wine very quick becomes tannic and with a lot of color.
I see. Okay. This wine is so it gives me everything I want in red wine. It has this wonderful depth on the nose of lots of fruits, lots of brambly berries and earthy herbal tones. And on the palate, it has so much fruit and so much structure, but softness in the mouth too. And then the acidity is incredible. It's so fresh. It's really, really vibrant, very long in the mouth. It's delicious. And one thing, this March before the world collapsed, and we saw Inma in Galicia, she showed me one of my favorite things that I've tasted all year long, and that is pulpo, octopus with this
pulpo a la gallega.
It was incredible. Like these two, I wouldn't have known to put them together, and this pairing is next level. So a lot of restaurants work with octopus here in the States, and this is something that should be used always. It's perfect pairing.
Yeah, we didn't talk actually about gastronomy and the best matches with these wines.
Yeah.
But our wines are very gastronomic. I think, these wines needs food. Ailala still were wines you can drink just for a glass and things like that. But still, I think the best is with food. And especially red is a wine that you can chill a little bit, especially in summer, to enjoy with anything that had, for example, it's perfect for barbecue, I think.
Yeah.
This kind of, because the fat of the meat, of the pork meat, with hamburgers, of course, sausages, all these kind of things.
Yeah.
With and it's very nice to drink a little bit chill, and especially in summer, because it still keeps freshness and doesn't hide too much the aromas, because had a lot of very beautiful also flowers, things like that, and goes with the paprika of the pulpo.
Yeah, paprika and pulpo. Oh, I want some so bad right now. It sounds incredible. So the Ailala wines, I think, are absolutely stunning. They're really incredible for the money to. They show amazing value and just really consistent and wonderful across the board. Now the Encostas wines, we're going to taste 3, but there is always different Encostas wines. So if you're intrigued by this project and it sounds right up your alley, definitely let me know, because there's a superhero, there's Maisala, which is their Godeo. Ocon is a Albarino that's incredible. But for right now, we're going to taste the Heaven and Hell White and the Coios Mencia. and as well as the Wish, which is a cool blend. So starting with Heaven and Hell, 2017 is the current vintage. It is, yeah. So Inma, this is like a super Galician. It's like a
Yeah, it's the best of Galicia in one bottle. It
cool.
has Godello from Valdeorras.
Okay.
It has Treixadura from Gomariz, from Ribeiro, and also Alvarinho from Salnés, from the coast.
Cool. So we have this trifecta coming together from one side of Galicia to the other, all in a white. Are these fermented together or only blended at the end?
No, blended separate. I mean, and they are made separate, and
Okay.
then we blend it at the end. But all of them, all this wine is made in barrel. I mean, ferments in barrel, 500 liters, 600 liters, French oak, and is going to be with the lees for around 10 months.
10 months in the lees, in old barrel,
Yeah.
or in used barrel.
Yeah.
This wine gets me every time. Like it always, I think the label is so fun, and I'm always like, oh, it's delicious wine. And then I drink it and I remember how stunning this comes across. It has this wonderful bridge of worlds that you can taste in the glass, from the acidity and brightness of, Albarino, to, the texture and unctuous, wonderful tones of both Treixadura and Godello. But it's mineral. It has that influence of the barrel, but it's not oaky.
No.
Oh, it's cool wine.
I mean, our philosophy also in winemaking is that what has to demand, what has to be the main character of the wine, it's the terroir. It's the place where we are, no? So it's what is important. Wood or lees or whatever other winemaking facts just only has to make these things bigger.
Yeah.
And to make point the terroir on the top of the image. So yeah, this one is amazing. It's very, very complex, very full body wine, but fresh again.
Yeah, wildly
But
complex.
it's another step up. I mean,
Yeah.
Ailala is fresher. This is another step.
Yeah, it takes it up and it jumps up in price as well, but it very well worth it. It shows so much complex fruit, so much wonderful kind of even spicy tones in the mouth, like not a red wine spicy, but where white can give you spice and texture and viscosity while being still fresh and driven with some acidity. It's really, really great. I love it. I love it. And so the Ocon Albarino is from Rias Baixas and absolutely stunning. And the Maisala, which the label's changed a bit from this Magnum, but all Godello from Valdeorras. And these wines they're also so particular and so special. And we have small quantities of each, and we can always get small quantities of others. So please let me know what sounds intriguing. But let's talk about Coios. So Coios, Mencia from Bierto, which is technically outside of Galicia. It's in Castilla y León, but it's right on the border. It's right there with the rest of them. And the current vintage that we have in stock right now is 2013. So this has some amazing bottle age. So Inma, this is 100% Mencia from Bierto. And how is it? What is the process here?
The Coios is Bierzo is our cousins. They are our cousins. It's very, very close to Galicia. It's the next region actually, and there the most famous grape is Mencia. No, it's I think after Albarino and white, Mencia is the more well-known Galician grape.
Yep.
But this is a different Mencia. I mean, Mencia that sometimes people compare it with the Pinot Noir and says it's the Galician Pinot Noir because it's lighter, it's softer, but this Coios is a little bit different. I mean, Coios came from Valtuille, Virtua is one of the most famous villages for wine in Bierzo, and it's in Coios soil. So it's actually the kind of soil that you can see in the picture of the bottle. Yeah, it's this kind of pebbles. So
Are they big pebbles or small pebbles?
Big
Big.
pebbles. Yeah. And so it means that it's a soil that we can get like more ripeness in the Mencia.
Right.
So we can get a little more body, more structure than the regular Mencias.
And kind of maybe like Châteauneuf de Pape, where those large, Guyette stones, they trap the sunlight during the day.
Exactly.
And kind of keep more warmth, things.
That's why, yeah. So that we can get like, I mean, they are very old vines, so the production itself is small, is tiny, but with the time with the time and with this kind of soil, we get a lot of concentration.
It's drinking so well. I mean, this is special to taste right now because I don't know when I had a bottle last, but the aromatic, like kind of floral tone of this dark, grippy fruit, while still being not heavy, but like you said, it's not the Mencia Pinot Noir comparison. It's darker than that. It's a little bit more serious than that. It has some more brooding character to it that has ripe dark cherries and dark plums and dark berries, but
it's not too tannic. It's different from the others.
Yeah.
For example, comparing with Ailala, that has Ailala Red, that has like more tannin, and this is softer. It's that's the difference. Mencia is a bigger bunch than Sauzon, less proportion of skin in the juice, so it's more kind, it's softer.
It's drink. I mean, this is kind of when all worlds hit and everything's coming together and really in balance and really in check. That's where this wine is drinking right now. 2013 Coios Mencia. It's beautiful, beautiful. That's fun. And then last, let's taste the Wish. So José's he's obsessed with music, right? He loves. Is this the Cure? It's kind of
yeah, exactly. I mean, most of the bottles of Vinos de Encostas, the labels, I mean, are related to any group from the 80s or 70s, the good rock and roll,
yeah. And this is now back into Ribeiro. This is
yeah, exactly. Wish is actually we sell here a última encosta. It's the last slope. It's a little bit outside the appellation actually, but it's just in Gomariz. It's a vineyard that is orientated northwest.
Okay.
So receive less sun than the others in Gomariz. So for example, comparing with Superhero, that is the other wine also from Vinos de Encostas, right? Superhero is from the center of Gomariz, so there we can get more ripeness, more complexity. And Wish is always a little bit fresh. It has that colder plot, so we can feel it in a wine.
Wow, the nose is so deep. This is 2016 is the current vintage that we have. What are the grapes here? I mean, this is a true field blend, right?
Yeah. I mean, the traditional Ribeiro always has been blends, field blends. And it's because I think people were clever these years in the past and said, well, if I use the production because we have like rain or hail or whatever, we didn't lost everything if we have like different kind of grapes, especially for example because they don't have the flower at the same time when it's in flower, so if it's raining not all the production is lost. and also because every grape give something different. No, it's like painting a picture. No,
Yeah.
you need like different colors or even structures to
This
create
tastes
the
like a
art.
painting. This is
Yeah.
this is really, I can't even tell you what I smell. It has so much
Wow.
unique brightness and freshness of fruit and earth, and on the palate is like eating perfectly ripe mountain blueberries, like when you're on a hike in the woods and all your senses are just engulfed by forest and the floor, and then you find blueberries to pick and you eat them. Yeah, not many people get that, and this is right here in the glass.
No, this is serious stuff.
This is
I mean,
serious
this
stuff.
is yeah. It's something. I mean, I will sometimes I will do like blind tastings with the super wines of the world, and
Yeah.
it's something serious here.
This is
I think.
so tell me like some of the grapes that might be
Wow.
in this vineyard, because they're picked together and fermented together too, right?
It has Ferrol, Sauzon, Bastardo, Caíño Longo, and probably a few more.
A few others.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But all local. I mean,
all local grapes.
All local
this is a
grapes.
very old vineyard plot, right?
Yeah, this is a plot that probably are between 70, 90 years old.
Cool. I can share a picture. I don't believe this is the same vineyard, because this is, I think, one of the older white grapes.
I think this is one from Superhero or Salvaje.
Okay, yeah.
But it's actually it's the same. I mean, it's the same idea. It's the same kind of viticulture. You see that is one by one, like big sticks that support the vines. Are like top high vine one by one, and very old.
Grows in this old bush vine style. They're stunning vineyards, and the wine speaks to it. You taste. I'm kind of tripping out right now. This is really, really special.
It's mineral and licorice, and a lot of also remains fresh herbs. Yeah. Wow.
It's stunning. Inma, thank you. This is it's such a treat to see you, and it's
always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's so wonderful to taste through these wines and hear the story and talk about the history. It's always good for me too, even though I've been there a few times and I know these wines very well. I'm always learning something, and it's really nice to sit with you, and I appreciate your time. And
thank you. Always a pleasure, because I mean the pity is that now we are not, people that is seeing that cannot taste it. So buy the wines and taste it, because I mean we can talk and talk and talk, but I love when the wines talk themselves.
Yeah, they really speak
and
to you.
Express and say something.
And that's the whole point of these virtual visits is we want to let you taste these. So if these sound great, just tell me. I want to get you bottles, and I'll get you bottles so you can see, I want to have this in my store, I want to have this in my restaurant, whatever it may be. Inma, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And
thank you.
See you soon.
Big hug. Bye-bye.
Big hug.